Today, I'm here in Karakoy to show you what there is to do in this unique neighborhood in Istanbul. Historically, Karakoy used to be a place where merchants and fishermen used to gather because of its location along the Bosporus and the beginning of the Golden Horn. Today, Karakoy is a place where you can come meet with friends at trendy cafes. There are lots of unique boutique hotels, and there are some historical hidden gems. So let's go have a look. We're going to start our tour around Karakoy on Bank Street, or Banklar Caddesi in Turkish. This used to be the financial center of the late Ottoman Empire. There are many 19th century buildings that have survived into the 21st century. However, they are being turned into hotels and restaurants. One building in particular that you should visit is the old Ottoman Central Bank. This building is free to enter, and it's now a museum, library, and auditorium. On the main floor, you'll find a cafe and bookstore. If you head upstairs, you'll be able to take in the architecture from the sky-lit atrium. This is a very popular place to take photos due to its lighting and shadows. Downstairs is the Ottoman Bank Museum and a rotating art exhibition hall. The Ottoman Bank Museum is also located on this floor. There isn't much to the museum since everything is all digital. It just takes up a corner under the stairs. Even though it's small, you can see digital copies of the late Ottoman and early Republic stock and bond certificates, accounting books, customer files, and photographs. Across from this is the exhibition hall. During my visit, the exhibition hall had a gallery explaining the history of the Turkish-speaking Yugoslavia community in Kosovo and Macedonia starting in the year 1920 after the First World War. The next location that I want to show you in Karakoy is called the Yeraltı Cami, or the Underground Mosque. This is something that can be easily missed because it blends in very well. It is said that this used to be the former crypt of the Castle of Galata. After the conquest of Istanbul, it was used as a storage area for ammunition as well as a water cistern. It was only converted into a mosque in 1753. This mosque is particularly interesting because of this green glow that you will see when you walk in. The green glow is actually a tomb of two Islamic ancestors who are said to be the third generation of the successors to the Prophet Muhammad. It's the middle of December, so the weather is a bit rainy today, but that's just how it is in the winter in Istanbul. This is kind of the main street of Karakoy, and here you'll have all the restaurants and cafes lined along here. This restaurant is a soup restaurant. Soup in Turkish is chorba, but if you go inside, you'll see about 20 different kinds of soup. So you can actually come here every day and try a new kind of Turkish soup, and I highly recommend coming here. All of them are amazing. Now it's time for a little stop at one of my favorite cafes in Karakoy. It's called the Istanbul Baking Company, and it's attached to the JW Marriott. The building was an old han, which is like a hotel where merchants and travelers stayed along the Silk Road. The inside of the bakery is decorated for the holidays with gingerbread houses, candy canes, and cookies. I just got a chicken wrap and a chai tea latte for lunch. This cafe is a part of the JW Marriott, which I like coming to because I'm a Marriott Envoy member. And when I come to this cafe and I use my Marriott Envoy Chase credit card, I get 6 times points for coming here. Every time I'm in Karakoy, I always come to this cafe. Another notable location in Karakoy is St. Gregory the Illuminator Church of Galata. It is the oldest Armenian apostolic church in Istanbul, originally built in the 14th century. It was very susceptible to fire and burned twice. Due to the ever-expanding nature of Istanbul, the church was demolished in 1953 to widen the road that it was next to. So the building that you see today is a 1962 reconstruction. If you want to visit the church, it is only open for 2 hours on Thursday morning between 9 and 11 a.m. I'm not really sure how to get inside the Armenian church, but that is an Armenian church. One of the few that are still standing with traditional Armenian architecture. This church is quite interesting. It's a Turkish Orthodox church, which is not recognized by the Eastern Orthodox Church. It's quite small, located in Karakoy, and worth a visit. Directly across from the church is this cafe called Phil. Phil is elephant in Turkish, but this cafe is cool because it has lavender coffee and it's also a bookstore. Another mosque in Karakoy that you should visit is the Kilich Ali Pasha Mosque. This mosque was built by Mirmaj Sinan, who was the most famous Ottoman architect. It is a small replica of the Hagia Sophia. Next to the mosque is the hammam, which has the same name, and this hammam has the second largest dome inside of hammam in Istanbul. The newer part of Karakoy is called Galata Port, and it's basically just a port shopping mall where all the cruise ships come to dock when they're visiting Istanbul. There is a security check before you come into this area, but there is the Istanbul Modern Art Museum and a bunch of shops. It's like an outdoor shopping mall. So I'll show you what it looks like. This is the Istanbul Modern Art Museum. Right now, Galataport is decorated for the holidays, so there are a lot of lights in the evening, and there's some decorations during the day, like this tree. Galataport was a 1.7 billion US dollar investment that spans 1.2 kilometers of coastline. It has a popular pedestrian-friendly promenade, opening the area to the public for the first time in nearly 2 centuries. Underneath there is an underground cruise terminal and a 2,400 vehicle parking lot. The port can accommodate 3 cruise ships at one time and 15,000 passengers per day. The whole area features 230 retail and dining spaces, with 40% dedicated to food and beverage establishments, with the goal to become Istanbul's new gastronomy hub. This building is the old post office. Now it's a renovated shopping mall. It's kind of full of high-end boutique shops. There's a couple cafes in there as well. The Karakoy Post Office, also known as the Parcel Post Office, was designed in 1905 and its construction began in 1907. It was intended to be the Galata Customs Office, but it also served as the first passenger terminal of the Karakoy port, with distinct areas for first class, second class, and third class passengers. Now, as you can see, there are lots of clothing stores, high-end boutiques, cafes, and when I was here, there was a little like a Christmas market that was happening, so it was really cool to check that out. Now, Karakoy is a relatively small area, but it's very lively, especially at night. I just wanted to show you the streets and point out some shops that you should visit if you're looking for some unique souvenirs. This first shop is a soap store, and before you roll your eyes at a soap store, this store is actually the same age as the country of Turkey. It opened in 1923, and the woman who started the store blended natural ingredients from the Aegean and Mediterranean regions of Turkey to make soothing natural soap. And I especially like their hammam and honey milk soap. The next shop does pottery making workshops, and you can also stop by and shop their ceramic gallery. The French Passage is distinguished by its green wrought iron gates. The main purpose is to connect the two main streets of Karakoy. It originally housed French merchants, but now you can find Turkish meyhanes and more boutique shops. There's actually one shop in particular that I like. It's this one called Kaitane House of Paper, and most of the items inside are made of paper. There are coasters, notebooks, calendars, there's paper fans, flowers, and even wrapping paper with smit. If you're looking for the best baklava in Istanbul, you have to stop by this store called Karakoy in Karakoy, and you'll have endless amounts of baklava to choose from. You cannot go wrong with any of them. This cafe called Emilie was a recent find of mine, but they have coffee that looks like this, where you can choose what kind of artwork you want on your coffee. We chose Starry Night and The Scream, but there's lots of other options.
Oh no, I think my finger was in it.
That was a little flashback from when we first tried it over the summer, but they also have an area where you can make your own dessert, which is just amazing. The rest of the street is just lined with more cafes and restaurants. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Karakoy. Even though the area is small, there are lots of things to do, so definitely add it to your list when you're visiting Istanbul. And if you need help choosing places to eat around the city, I made a Google map with 150 of my personal recommendations throughout the city. I'll leave it linked below if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.